What it do, man? It's the Ball and Parlay Lounge. It's the kid, Mr. Ball and Parlay. I got my man Wyt Choc in the building, and my dog Q in the cut as always. Want to say I appreciate y'all tuning in to the first episode, but like I said, we finna keep this rolling. This is every recording every Wednesday, uploading Thursday to give y'all that content, to give y'all that information, man. But hey, like, subscribe, share, and like my dog Q always say, we gonna take care of y'all. Finna pass it to my dog, man.
What's up, man? It's Q, man. Appreciate y'all for coming back for episode 2. This is another one. We got a bunch of good things to talk about this week compared to what we talked about last week. So I'm definitely excited about this episode. White Chalk.
Yeah, well, okay. So you've made it. You're here, the Ball and Parlay Lounge podcast. So, last week was an interesting show. We went through a lot of things. We talked about some interesting stuff. This week we have more of the same. Make sure you're joining us on Facebook. Find the page, Ball and Parlay. Join up. Join the conversation. Get in with us and share the video. And we're just going to jump straight into this thing. And we're, here on the show, we like to take a chance to look back at the week before and maybe look before we look forward to the next day. So we're going to go to this in a segment that we call Look Back at It. All right, look back at it. So, gentlemen, we made some picks last week. We did some talking last week. We talked about the NFL. We talked about how it was week 1 and no one really knew anything that was going on, and we were all just making random stabs in the dark. We talked about college football week 2, interesting matchups and things that were going on. The marquee of that would be the Bama versus Texas game. But there were also some other really good games. So just to do a recap, so the college picks that we made, um, David, Mr. Ball and Parlay, goes 5-0. Q goes 2-3, and your boy White Chalk goes 4-1. Not too bad. Where we all messed up, except for David, the App State over Texas A&M game. Now we all saw this. App State, they get a big check to go out to Texas A&M, and they just completely dismantle the team. It was really, really weird. But then again, it just didn't feel. I picked that game for us to talk about last week because App State has a tendency to do funny things every now and again. So I guess we should just go straight to you, David. You are the man who picked App State over Texas A&M right here on this show. So what tipped you off about the team?
Man, let's just be real, man. We all know Texas A&M. They gearing up for Bama, and I just feel like App State. I don't know who does their scheduling, but it's like they're always right there at the right time, and they come to play. Like the culture of their program, man, they gonna show up to play every week. Let's be real. We saw the big letdown against North Carolina. I think Q, you picked that before we recorded, but um, everybody probably thought they was gonna lay off the gas, and what they do, they come in the building and knock off the number 6 team in the nation. But let's be real, App State has showed us who they were for years. Like this ain't just started. Like so, nobody's surprised when they really beat people at this point. So I just had to roll with it, and you know how I go. The fix is in.
Well, Q, you and I chose Texas A&M, obviously the number 6 team in the nation. They were a 19-point favorite. Us and the rest of pretty much everyone except the Sharps. So give me the rundown on why you think Texas A&M did how they did, because the way they did was just ugly.
Man, I watched that game and all I seen was poor execution, miscommunication. I can go on and on. I just think Jimbo gonna have to really lock down, especially if you're talking about trying to play Saban like that. It ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be another dismantling, and Saban not gonna lighten up on them at all. He gonna get payback for last year for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that game was it was just something weird in the middle of the day. I'm sure it messed up a lot of people's ballots, but and maybe the picks that they had going on. So it was just one of those things. That was one of the ones that we missed. One of the other ones that Q, you missed the Arkansas South Carolina game. You took South Carolina and felt something about them. I watched a little bit of that game. Arkansas looks like a pretty decent team. I mean, they got them ranked number 16 right now. I don't think it's all that bad. Any thoughts on that game, Q?
that game was, to me, was kind of all over the place from what I've watched. It's just, there was a lot of what should I say, misreads by the quarterback. But I honestly think though, probably week 4, week 5, Arkansas will probably be a team to reckon with once they get everything together.
David, what do you think about that game? Any thoughts?
Hey man, Arkansas. One thing I noticed about them that first game, Arkansas got a rushing game. They got a real deal rushing game. Like I don't feel like the coach put them in situations like to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like the quarterback didn't throw. I don't even think the quarterback threw 100 yards. They just controlled the game with running the ball. And let's be real, the games are won in the trenches. So if I feel like Arkansas playing like a subpar team, I'm rolling with them.
All right, so let's move on to the Tennessee versus Pitt game. Tennessee on the road at Pittsburgh. Um, that was a game that was. Uh, we had the picks here. We all took Tennessee, and the number was 6. And it was just an interesting game. David, any thoughts on how Tennessee played, and any idea how they may be getting better as the season goes along?
Hey man, shout out to Double H, man. My boy Hooker, that quarterback. He played his heart out, man. He played a lights out game. Cameras was on. And Tennessee didn't have that letdown. I mean, they had control the first game, week 1 game, came back, handled Pitt, man. Like, hey, like you said, we all called it right here. We was on point with that one.
Absolutely. Q, Tennessee versus Pittsburgh. You called it all the way. I asked you last week if you thought that the spread made any kind of difference. I don't believe it did at the end. I'm not sure. So, how did you feel about the game?
I really didn't expect that game to go like that. Honestly, I legit thought that Tennessee would come in and just blow the doors off Pitt, but Pitt definitely put up a fight. And I used to watch them the days where they were had Larry Fitzgerald down there, so they may be returning to that prime when they back in the day.
Interesting. Now, another matchup that we had picked last week, number 10 USC versus Stanford. It was USC minus 10. Um, we- Q, you picked Stanford. Now, Stanford was at home, and we get that. David and I chose USC. So I guess we'll just pitch back again to you. Q, how did Stanford let you down?
They did everything possibly they could do wrong. Nothing was done right. So I was just like, come on, man, because last year before last, they gave USC big trouble. So I'm thinking maybe USC finally got it together this year. But Stanford still has a good team. They kind of under dropping the ball a lot right now.
Yeah, they had a case of the drops going for sure. David, USC, Lincoln Riley, first year there, doing his thing. Give me your thoughts on how the game went.
Man, like I said, week 1, man, if y'all go back to it, I said receivers, man. The kid, I think his name is Jay Addison. I think he had like over 170 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. I think the quarterback threw touchdown apiece to 2 more guys. They had too many athletes on the outside. But Stanford definitely fought back towards the end. But at the end of the day, them receivers they got down there, man, like USC got some dogs down there. Like, and they just lost some to the NFL, but they recruiting the receivers, man. So that's why I roll with them.
All right, so the game that we've been waiting to talk a little bit about here, number one Alabama at the Texas Longhorns. Now, I saw the ratings. They said 10 million people were watching on average, 15 million people were watching at the peak. That was the fourth largest audience for a television game there, or a television show or whatever this year. It turned out to be a very interesting game. I'll have to say that Texas quarterbacks have an issue with Alabama. They seem to get carted off the field whenever they play them. And that really threw a monkey wrench in everything that was going on. But the story on this game is more about what Alabama didn't do than what Texas did do. So we all three chose this. David, I'll go to you first. Tell me why the game ended up the way it was, in your opinion, with Alabama winning 20-19.
What I told y'all last week, keep that oil on the sideline. Hey, I
Right.
told y'all that guy's talented, man. Like anybody, we know how strict Saban is. Let's be real. Saban is not afraid to put somebody off the team. He's not afraid to suspend somebody. Sark, like he said at the beginning of the pregame, he was at his lowest. And Saban saw something in him, man. The fix was in, man. I saw it. I saw the writing on the wall. I done seen this story. Don't get me wrong. When the quarterback got injured, I said, "Oh man, it's gonna be a bloodbath." I originally said Sark his offensive mind would be the key into covering that spread. But let's be real, Texas defense surprised the world. So hey, I feel like we need to watch out for them, like for real. But it all boiled down to something Bama never had, and that's a quarterback. It came down to quarterback play, and that's what essentially won the game. Man, Saban was finally saved after all these years, not by his running backs, his defense, or his receivers. Like Bryce saved the game. So, hey, but shout out to Sark. Hey, this for you, just like I said last week.
Absolutely. Q, the game definitely didn't go the way anybody thought it was going to go heading into the game. So, give me your analysis on exactly how this happened.
First of all, I just want to give kudos to Hudson Card. He came in, probably didn't expect to play that game, and he definitely held his own. But I honestly think if Ewers hadn't got hurt, I think Bama would have lost that game for sure. Defensively, Texas looked real good, and they knew they had to come out foot on the gas, nonstop against that Bama offense. But also, on another note, Bama defense, I think, had about 12 penalties, totaling up to probably close to 100 yards. And I think four of them was on Will Anderson. So I'm pretty sure that Saban going to kind of tighten up them on the penalties. But man, Texas made some late and clutch mistakes at the end, towards like maybe end of third quarter, fourth quarter. They really would have got them to win in that game. So maybe they'll get that together. And I legit want to see a rematch, honestly.
Definitely. The way I looked at that game, it made a lot more sense as the game started going on. I had a feeling something crazy was going to happen. The Big 12 officiating crew, they were throwing a lot of flags on Alabama, and Alabama players were doing stuff. But I'm just saying it was like a lot of flags, and you start looking at the penalties on one side and the penalties for the other, and they're mentioning it on the broadcast and everything else. And it gets toward the end, and so there's the exchange where it's a safety, but it's not a safety,
Yeah,
but it was a penalty, but it was not a
personal
penalty,
pass,
and then
yeah.
it was some wackiness went there. It ended up being Alabama fourth down, able to be able to punt the ball away instead of giving up 2 points, which would have been the difference in the game. I think that the Big 12 refs had it in for Texas and did not want them to beat Alabama at home because they're leaving to come to the SEC, so they wanted to rob them of that and not allow that. Now, I don't have anything to back that up except for what my eyes were seeing. And what my eyes were seeing was it was either extremely sloppy officiating or somebody was trying to do a little something to make something happen. Let me just throw it back to you just real quick. David, any validity to what I'm saying, or am I just out of my mind?
It sounds like you're saying the fix is in.
Almost. Okay. All right, Q. How about you? I mean, any validity of what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you on that one. But and I also got to say this too. Kool-Aid McKinnis. I think he's like what 5'7", 5'8", maybe. He was checking
Mm-hmm.
a guy that was like 6'3". So those pass interference, are like he just hanging on for bad life. I mean, dear life. I'm sorry, dear life. So I was like, man, when they was throwing the pass interference, I said, man, you got to get a little man some kind of leeway because he was struggling over there.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Alabama wins 20-19. It's the perfect game that Nick Saban loves. His team barely squeaks out a win. He gets to talk about rat poison. He gets to say the word "aight" a lot during press conferences. So, anyway, all right. So, as we look back at it, week one NFL. So, going into it, we knew that no one knew anything, but we had a pretty decent idea about what was going on. So, we made 5 picks. Um, David ends up going 4-1. Q ends up going 3-2. I'll look up and go 5-0. Obviously, I'm not the professional, so that was just random dumb luck. So let's go through the picks here. Now we had the Browns versus the Panthers. It was pretty much even money going into the game. It did start with the Panthers being slightly favored. So, um, David, you took the Browns. Q, you took Carolina. I took the Browns. So I'll flip it over to Q. Carolina Panthers. It was just maybe it was just too much too soon. Maybe it was too much defense. How do you feel like that game went?
Man, honestly, it didn't go as I expected, but I'm gonna tell you like this: Nick Chubbs is a dog. Like Nick Chubbs, I think had over 140 yards rushing on 22 carries, and I was really excited to see Anthony Swartz get his first NFL catch. If you know Anthony Swartz, out of Auburn, fastest man in college, period. So I was really excited about that. But man, the Browns look really good, and I honestly think if Deshaun come back and they're playing at this level, they might be a force to be reckoned with.
David, you took the Browns. I took the Browns. We both said that we thought that the defense was going to be the difference. It ultimately was. But tell me how you feel like the game went.
Man, let's be real. Baker came out slow. Like I said, I like a guy with a chip on his shoulder. Even though I did pick the Browns, but Baker came out sloppy, but he ended up making it a game. I know Q said shout out to Chubb, but hey, it looks like Kareem Hunt has redeemed himself as well. I mean, the man had 2 touchdowns. He balled out as well. Like the Browns played a balanced game, but hey, let's be real. The player of the game comes from York. 58-yard game winner towards the end, man. That was huge. That
Absolutely.
was huge, man. I mean, the Panthers came out, got ahead, and for them to drive down and he nailed a game winner basically like that, that's huge, man. That's huge.
All right. So as we're looking back, week one NFL, you got the Eagles versus the Lions. Now, we all took the Eagles. We all liked them. Q, anything that stood out about the Eagles that you really liked?
Mm, really didn't get a chance to watch much of that game. I kind of peeked in and out, but the Eagles looking good, man, defensively. Jalen Hurts, I think this is his year. I'm not sure where he's at on his contract right now, but I think this is going to be the year he really set the tone for that contract negotiation.
Absolutely. David, any thoughts on this Philadelphia game?
Man, Philadelphia shot out on them boys early, but shout out to the Lions for bouncing back, man. That running back Williams they got, I think he's on NFL Hard Knocks. He one of the starring people. I love that kid. He into that anime and all that stuff, man. I love his personality. But hey, Detroit pay that man. He's a fan favorite, and that boy is a baller. He a dog. I think he had like 2 touchdowns, and then Lions actually covered.
Lions did cover. Yep, absolutely. About by one. And moving on to the Raiders versus the Chargers. Now this is a game that David and I liked the Chargers. Q was on the Raiders. Now the Raiders didn't quite come out to the beginning that we really thought that they would. Q, what did they do? What happened?
Carr and Adams could not get on the same page to save their life. Not Carr, but Adams would run a post. Carr would throwing it as if he was running a slant or a 10-yard out. And I'm just like, what's going on? But I get it. Anytime you add a new
Man,
player to a
Justin Herbert.
team or
Like I said
one or
last week,
two or
man, I
so,
said Justin
you got to
Herbert,
have chemistry.
Keenan
If
Allen.
there's no
Keenan
chemistry,
Allen
it's not
actually
gonna
got
work.
hurt.
So
I think he had
I
like
think
right
I think next
four
game they get
catches,
it
right up
together
under
and they
78
shake back
yards.
real good.
But Justin Herbert had
Absolutely.
three
Now,
touchdown passes, man. A
the
little over
Chargers,
200 yards. He
David,
balled
we
out.
we were both on the Chargers,
Like Q
and
said,
as far as chemistry
Carr and
goes, it
Adams
felt
couldn't
like
get on the
things were clicking
page,
pretty well with the
same
Chargers.
page. But
Anything
it's
from
gonna
that
be
game that stuck
scary
out
when
to
they
you?
do get on the same page because Adams still had 10 catches and 140 plus yards. So, so even with the mishaps, and I take it back because I said I felt like he looked a little good because of A Rod. Hey, Adams, hey, I'm gonna give you the Steve Sarkis, man. Hey, toast to you, man. You got a bright future out there in Las Vegas, man.
Yeah.
Right. So now, gentlemen, let's look back at the Kansas City Chiefs at the Cardinals. Now, this is a game when we were picking them. David, you decided to roll with the Cardinals on this. Q and I played it safe and took Kansas City. So I'm gonna go through straight to you. How did you feel about the Cardinals, and what did you think about the game?
Hey, man, I guess the fix wasn't in on this one. Don't get me wrong. I thought the Chiefs was gonna have a little success hangover. Tyreek leaving, But hey, Patrick Mahomes has showed me time and time again who he is. We all know. Did y'all see that pass that man made in that window to Travis Kelsey?
Absolutely.
Come on, man. Like once he showed me that, listen, you only gotta show me one time. You showed me who you is. I ain't even gotta talk about the Cardinals. I thought Murray was gonna come out, shake them up a little bit. Hey, the Chiefs got a sleeper defense as well now. I know they took an injury at corner. The other corner got hurt, but I think he wasn't placed on IR. I know they lost Tre'Davious Ward, but they still played a solid game because we all know the Cardinals got weapons everywhere. But so look out for the Chiefs, man. They balled out. My boy Travis Kelsey was out there doing the AB. I rock with you, man. Hey, we can't win them all.
Absolutely. Q, you and I both took Kansas City in this. You felt
Yeah,
pretty strongly
as
about
I
Kansas City. So
expected.
how'd
Like
you
I
think the
said,
game
me
went?
and David got a chance to catch the Cardinals when they played the Ravens in the preseason, and I didn't like what I seen from the Cardinals. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I legit took the Chiefs because of what Pat Mahomes. You just know he's gonna do something special. 5 touchdowns, he got 41 points in my fantasy league.
Absolutely. And, going into doing our preseason Super Bowl picks, I had the Chiefs in there. I feel like they have a lot of different weapons and a lot of different ways to hurt you. So it's going to be interesting to see how the season progresses with them. If they can keep the injuries down, it's going to be a very long season for anyone that has to play the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, gentlemen. So here at the end of looking back and look back at it, Tampa Bay at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is a interesting matchup going into it. We all kind of had our preconceptions of what it was going to be. All three of us knew that Tampa Bay would win. Some of us thought that maybe Dallas would make it a little bit closer than it was. The game was really, really hard to watch. Q, this was the marquee matchup, and you picked Tampa Bay. Tell me what your thoughts on the game were.
The goat, man, the goat. He always finds a way to make it happen. Also, Fournette, Leonard Fournette had a pretty big game, and that's huge anytime you can keep the run game going. Because I think Brady and them couldn't really get the passing game going, but at the end they kind of picked up on it. I think Brady had maybe 250 yards. He threw an interception, of course, but first game of the season, can't hold it against him. He definitely gonna get in rap for him.
David, this game was a very hard game for the Dallas Cowboys fans to watch. Last week, you said that the Dallas Cowboys have a way of breaking people's hearts and ruining people's tickets. So, would you like to elaborate? Because I would say that this would probably be Exhibit A of what you were trying to say.
Cowboys being the Cowboys, man. Listen, I thought it was gonna be like prom night. I thought it was the perfect setup for a killing. But look, man, the Cowboys are who we thought they were, man. Let's be real, man. Hey, Tom Brady came out. He ain't missing a beat. Man, Dak broke his finger. Looked like he out for a few weeks. Y'all like that prom night joke. I know, I see. But hey man,
Yeah.
the only thing good that come from this, Jimmy G on the trade rumors. He on the market. I see the Cowboys looking into some things. Hey, we finna get some good trade value for that man. Hey, Cowboys keep being Cowboys.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be a long season for the Cowboys fans. Jerry Jones came out and said that he is not putting Dak Prescott on the IR, so which means he'll still have that roster spot. If they put you on IR, you're out for an indefinite amount, at least 8 weeks, I believe. So they wanted to try to see if they can push to get him back. People in the past who's had that injury that I've heard speak about it, um, RG3, he mentioned it. He had the exact same surgery. He said 6 to 8 weeks would probably be about the time that it was going to take. But I think that if the Dallas Cowboys really were smart, they start thinking about the next year's draft at this point and how they can kind of get there. So anyway, that'll wrap up this particular segment of look back at it, and we'll move along and talk a little bit about college football and the NFL. All right, gentlemen. So week 3, college football. We've seen a lot of things happen in the last couple of weeks. Um, we've already discussed that. We're looking forward now. There's an interesting game coming up. Number 11 Miami, which is 2-0, versus number 24 Texas A&M, who are 1-1, but are a 5.5 point favorite at home after losing to App State. So I guess I'm gonna throw it out to David first here. You got Miami, brand new coach Mario Cristobal. A lot of good things and a lot of good energy around that particular program. Versus Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher, and what seems to be a toxic situation. So, tell me how you think this game's going to shake out.
Hey man, I gotta go Texas A&M, man. Listen, I saw a guy in the store the other day with a Miami Hurricane jersey on. He had the throwback Ed Reed. I said, hey man, the U is back. I ain't never heard a fan say not yet. I gotta go Texas A&M.
Mm,
I ain't never heard that.
mm.
Listen, I
So you
got
let a man at the gas station
yeah.
sway your opinion on Miami 2-0 number 13.
Hey,
Interesting. Okay.
I think he saw something, man. But listen, but I want to say shout out to Parrish, man. They got a good running back down there. He balling, man, and he played a good game. But I feel like that fan, he saw something in that Southern Miss game, man. That hey, the U ain't back, baby.
Okay, so you're taking A&M. All right. All right, so Q. I mean, I've laid it out for you. Where are you at on this game?
I'm taking Texas A&M as well. I think Jimbo gonna kind of had a whole team bounce back and kind of get it together and kind of showing what Texas A&M it really has this year. So I'm definitely taking. I'm really riding with Jimbo on this one, other than I am the actual team.
Okay, interesting. Um, I'm going to take Miami. I'll take Miami, and if I could get the points, I'd take the points. And the reason why is because, first of all, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just an outside random fan, but for for some reason, the momentum part of it is what's sort of standing out to me. Right now, it seems like all the air's been taken out of Texas A&M's balloon, and they're flopping on the ground at this point. Miami, they're feeling good about who they are, but we know that they're overachieving. So is this the game where Miami comes back down to earth, or is this the game where Texas A&M decides maybe this is an 8-4 season, maybe this is a 9-3 season? Who knows? So I'm going to roll with Miami on that. Let's roll on over to number one, Georgia, a 24 and a half point favorite on the road, South Carolina. Now, we saw South Carolina and how, just blase they were against Arkansas. That leads me to believe that this game might get out of hand. So, David, who you got in this game, man?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I gotta go Georgia, man. I feel like Georgia. I know people wanted them to blow out Sanford. I feel like they ain't even prepared for them for real. I think they knew they was gonna be like too much for them. They didn't play a complete game, but still to win 33-0 against a college program that's big. I like Georgia huge this week. I like Georgia huge this week, man. I think Kirby
Okay.
will prepare for this South Carolina team. I gotta go with them. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Georgia, man. I don't even like going against all those points like that, but I like Georgia big.
Okay. Q, how you feel like this game's going to go, man?
I'm definitely taking Georgia by 40, easy. I really think that Bennett's gonna have a huge game. He's 2 games into the season. This guy's already 300 yards from 1,000. So I think he's really gonna make his push for the Heisman, at being a Heisman candidate. So Georgia for sure.
I'm going to take Georgia as well. I really think that they may win by 50. I mean, I'm not trying to one up Q here, but it just seems to me like the way things are lining up, they are a complete team. Stetson Bennett the fourth looks like he knows what he's doing,
Yes.
and he's definitely the clock has not run out for the Cinderella that is Stetson Bennett the fourth. So I think we'll just stick around and see what happens with that game. All right, gentlemen. So moving along, number 22, Penn State, 2-0, a 3-point favorite versus Auburn, who is also 2-0 but unranked. Now, Q, we know that you're an Auburn fan. Um, this should be of interest to you of how last year's game went, and now they're doing the home and home deal. So I'm gonna put it to you: Auburn versus Penn State. Who you got?
Ooh man, like David said, the guy at the gas station said, just we not back yet. We not Auburn not back yet, man. We struggled with the last game. And I seen a lot of stuff. TJ Finley has already thrown, I think, 3 or 4 interceptions this year, which I think it's time for us to probably make that change before it's too late. I would love to redeem myself from last year when we lost down in Penn State, but I'm gonna take Penn State on this. I'm gonna get a lot of smack talk about it, but I'm gonna take Penn State against all my guys, man.
Interesting. David, now, as an Alabama fan, and I'm an Alabama fan as well, we would never pick against Alabama. I just want to throw that out there. So I'm going to throw it to you. Penn State versus Auburn. Penn State is favored by 3 points. Who you got?
Man, all right. I ain't gonna just shit on the Auburn fans. You know what I'm saying? So even though they got all that toilet paper down now, no point intended. But man, Auburn passing defense is not great this year. Like we can get on Finley, but San Jose State was throwing the ball. Granted, they didn't have any passing touchdowns, but if you watch that game, they was getting carved up, like carved up. Like I'm talking about, I felt like it was Thanksgiving Day. I felt like I was
Yeah,
back at grandmama's house.
all day.
But exactly, but they do have a great rushing defense. So it depends. Like I feel like if Penn State come out like throwing that ball, it can get ugly. So I got to go Penn State as well. I got to roll with Q, and I'm almost surprised that he picked him, but it shows my boy he ain't biased and he actually watched the game. So
Yeah.
hey, I respect it. I respect it.
I mean, as far as the way I look at this game, I have to go back to the SEC versus other conferences conversation. Now, Auburn, a little bit of a letdown last year. I think they had the whiteout or whatever in Penn State last year for the Auburn game. I think I'm going to roll with Auburn's defense, and I'm going to take Auburn and be a contrarian on this week. I'm trying to go 0-5 this week, so
Okay.
I'm taking Miami. I'm taking Auburn. All right, so let's move
You might
along
go
here to
undefeated.
another Auburn related thing. You've got number 12 BYU versus number 25 Oregon. Oregon with Bo Nix, former Auburn quarterback. Now, how they're ranked 25, I have no idea. But also, Oregon is favored at home, minus 3.5 points. All right, Q. So it's time for you to step up. You got to choose between BYU and your boy Bo Nix at Oregon. So who you got?
Listen, I would pick my dog, like my actual pet dog, before I pick anything with Bo Nix, man. I'm taking BYU. BYU is the only team that I've seen this year and definitely last year. They only put out three defensive linemen, and those three defensive linemen get to the quarterback every time. So I'm definitely taking BYU against Oregon, man.
Man, I hate to do this because last week I was telling y'all that I had a resume typed up for Mr. Bo Nix. I even talked to the Pinson athletic director down there. They said,
Trying to get him a job.
oh man, they say they waiting on him. Hey, but look, man, Bo Nix had a good game last week, man. He threw for 5 touchdowns. I'm gonna roll with him. I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna go with Bo this week, man. I'm gonna see what he's talking about. But if not, hey, they hiring that Alabama Power, Bo. I got you. I know a guy.
All right. Well, looking at this game, obviously, I am not going to go for Bo Nix. I'm sorry. Just there's no way. I've seen enough of him and the way that he plays. What I'm hoping for is this is going to be reminiscent of the Oregon BYU game where LeGarrette Blunt punches somebody in the face. I'm hoping to maybe see some of that toward
Oh, I forgot about
toward
that.
the end. So I guess we'll just have to see how it turns out. But for me and my house, we're going to go with BYU, and may God have mercy on their soul. Let's talk about the Texas Tech versus NC State game. Now, NC State, number 16, 2-0. They're a 10-point favorite at home against Texas Tech. Texas Tech, 2-0. Maybe they've played cupcakes. Maybe they've played Big 12 schools. Maybe they haven't played anybody at all. We've noticed that NC State, they play ball in a way that's very unconventional, and it seems like they're trying the best they can to lose games. But they end up they've won the first two, and it just really perplexes a lot of people. So, David, any thoughts on this NC State versus Texas Tech game?
I like Texas Tech, man. Them boys know how to win. Like they've been in a lot of like nail battles, like especially last week with Houston. But hey, I like them boys, man. They ball, man. That quarterback, he did throw 3 interceptions, but he still managed to have over like 320 yards passing. That's actually impressive. It's almost like the Jameis Winston. You throw 30 interceptions and you throw 30 touchdowns. It's impressive when you actually think about it. But hey, man, I saw NC State play early in the year against ECU. I don't think they got it. I feel like this the one where they get smacked. I feel like this the one where they get smacked, man. I'm going Texas Tech.
All right, Q. So, I mean, who you like in this game? Texas Tech, NC State.
Like NC State, man, I think Devin Leary's gonna have a huge game. I think they finally get it together. You know, there's not one team in college that started off, well, I'll say ranked team that started off real rocky the first two games. So I think they get it together. Devin and Thomas, their leading receiver. I think they go big.
You think it's NC State big? Okay.
Oh yeah, oh
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at this line. I was looking at this game. I'm going to lead NC State. The reason why is because I've just noticed over the years that Big 12 teams just their defense doesn't seem to travel on the road, and when they're at home, there's barely any defense there at all anyway. And so it may be a matter of maybe there's a little extra humidity there at NC State than maybe that dry heat that they're worried about and dealing with in Texas Tech. So I'm going to ride with NC State against my better judgment. But they win close games, so maybe they'll pull out another close game, but it is -10. Moving along, Cal minus I'm sorry, Cal 2-0 versus Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame 0-2, Marcus Freeman as a head coach, 0-3, still has not won a game, and yet Notre Dame is favored at home by 11 points. David, tell me you're not going to pick Cal in this game to beat Notre Dame at home.
Nah, man, I gotta roll with it, man. Notre Dame been getting a bunch of bad breaks. I gotta go with Notre Dame, man. I gotta go with the Irish. Um, they just had some rough breaks, man. I actually like the coach. I like the how they rallying behind him, man. But hey, he gonna have to get it together soon, man. We know what Notre Dame want. They want them 10-2 seasons. They already lost their two. All right, they on the road to 10 now, man. Let's go Notre Dame.
Q, are you as high on Notre Dame as David is?
Yeah, man, he took the words right out of my mouth. I'm really pulling for Marcus, man. He did a great job last year, especially against Ohio State. They kind of just, I'm not sure what happened between last year and this year, other than probably some good guys leaving, transferring, or whatnot. But I'm really hoping he get together. But I'm gonna take Notre Dame for sure.
And I'm rolling with Notre Dame as well. I just don't think Cal has enough as far as the talent. I mean, Notre Dame is still super deep. All right, gentlemen. So we're going to move along here. We're going to go to number 11 Michigan State, 2-0 on the road versus Washington, who is also 2-0 but unranked. Washington is a 3.5 point favorite at home. A little bit of a weird line there in the way everything kind of lines up. So, David, I'll throw it to you first. Any thoughts on this game?
Hey, man, I'm gonna go and ride. I gotta go Washington, man. Hey, I'm looking at this kid Dumbles, man, Junior, man. He threw for 682 yards last week, man. Threw the
Yep.
ball over 60 times. I gotta see if they gonna keep it going, man. I like it. I like Washington, man. I love it, actually.
Oh, you love it. Okay. Q, do you love it as much?
Yeah, man. Washington has been known to pull some upsets, especially at home, and I think the people in Vegas that set this line kind of know that too. So Washington, Washington may pull out 14-point win.
Hmm. 14
Ooh,
point. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm looking at this game and I looked at it to kind of see where they are, and it's just super early in the season. That being said, I'm going with Michigan State. It looks to me like Washington is probably going to do something dumb at home there, and I feel like Michigan State has a chance here to go to 3-0 and really keep. It's the big picture you have to look at. It's the Big Ten. Okay, it's the Big Ten. It's the Pac-12. It's which one of these teams are jockeying and volleying right now. And right now, the Big Ten has the edge of everything that's going on. So just from that particular statement, I believe that they're going to go in. They're going to have a lot to play for, and I think Michigan State wins. And one last game to talk about before we move on to the NFL. You have Kansas, the Jayhawks. Okay, that same Kansas football team is 2-0, which they had Les Miles. Les Miles is gone. The coach that they have now has won a whole bunch of championships at Division II. Interesting thing, I think the cupboards might have been full with some talent there from Les Miles versus Houston, who's 1-1. Now Houston at home, 9-point favorite. So David, who you got, man? Kansas versus Houston.
I'm gonna be real, man. Shout out to Kansas for turning around. We know they known to be a basketball school, but I'm gonna go Houston, man. I think Houston pretty solid, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't cover. So I like Houston in a close one. So you can say I'm kind of going Kansas with the points.
Okay. Kansas plus the 9. Q, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I definitely like Kansas plus the 9. It's Houston is kind of slacked off compared to last year, but Kansas got a few guys on their team that's kind of under the radar, and I think this would be the game that kind of really show who they are.
Gotcha. But are you taking Kansas straight up or are you taking Houston?
I'm gonna take Kansas straight up.
KU.
Okay, Kansas.
Pressure.
Yeah, Kansas straight
Uh,
up.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Now, I watched Houston play. I didn't particularly like any of the things that I was seeing in the loss. It was kind of ugly. Watching Kansas play was really strange just to see that particular jersey moving around and doing those things and celebrating. It was just really, really odd to see. And I think they're going to keep it going this week. I'm going to go with Kansas. So we got our picks here for the college, and we'll make sure to recap those a little bit later on. And we're going to move along to the NFL Week 2. All right, guys, so we're back. We're going to be talking NFL Week 2. So week one's in the books. Week two's going along, and we're going to start with the Thursday night football matchup, which is the 1-0 LA Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs, who are also 1-0, as we know. And the Chiefs are a 4-point favorite at home. This game should be very good. We've seen a couple of very well coached teams going in to this particular week. So I'm going to throw it to you, Q. You got your choice. You can take the Chargers on the road versus the Chiefs. Who do you like?
Taking the Chiefs at Arrowhead, man. I think Mahomes gonna have another big game. I think that Juju is gonna actually get off this game and show that he belongs there within that offense. And what a lot of people fail to realize, the Chiefs' offense can wear you down and at a tremendous rate.
Right.
But and what I found out today, I did not know Khalil Mack went to the Chargers. I did not know that. So you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a low scoring game, but I'm definitely going with the Chiefs.
Okay. David, who do you like, man?
All right, Q, did you sneak a under pick in there as
I
well?
think
That
he
would it
said he
sound
liked
like
the
to me,
under.
man.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
he
yeah,
slid a
definitely.
under in. Okay, he the under king. He'll catch a good under, but
Mm,
man, I'm gonna go the other way, man. I know me and Q been kind of riding each other way. I'm gonna go Chargers, man. Only reason being, man, the Chiefs got a DB kicking the ball now, man. Their starting kicker is out. So if this game close, it comes down to that DB kicking the ball, man. So I'm a roll with them. Even though Keenan Allen is out, I'm gonna go with the defense, and I'm gonna go with my man Justin Herbert, man. Thursday night, I know everybody gonna ride the Chiefs. Maybe the fix is in. We'll
mm.
see.
Okay. Well, obviously, I picked the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl this year, and I think that they know that their kicker is not going to be there. Butker or whatever his name is, he's out for a little while. They're going to have to get somebody off the street, possibly somebody
Yep,
from
yep.
training camp or whatever. I think because of that, they score a lot of points to make sure that they don't need a kicker. So I will go with the Kansas City Chiefs. Moving along, we're going to go Tampa Bay versus Q's New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints and the Falcons had a very interesting game last week. To say the least, the Falcons did Falcon things. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to do Falcon things. I think Tampa Bay is going to come ready to go. Q, I'll pitch it to you, man. You like New Orleans at home versus Tom Brady?
Man, most definitely, man. That dome is going to be live. Do you hear me? And last year, a lot of people don't know this. Last year, that game where I think it was like 9-0, that was the first time Tom Brady had ever been held to 0 points in his career. And the defense is a lot better this year. Hey, what that boy Winston said? He gonna eat that W. He's going. It's going
Uh,
down, man. I'm telling you. I'm going Saints by 14 easy.
okay. Saints by 14.
Ooh.
Interesting. All right, David, are you as high
Easy.
on the Saints or is it marijuana?
Hey, I'm gonna actually,
That Cowboys
yeah,
locker room.
some of that coke. Somebody stealing that coke. Hey, I'm gonna actually be at this game. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be in. I'm gonna be at this one. I'm gonna see this one. I'm being that
Okay.
live bet, man. I'm being the 49er down to the shoes to the socks, man. I'm up in there. But I feel like Tampa Bay gonna get this one, man. Even though I hate to say it, I love how Jameis Winston finished that second half. But I also feel like Tampa Bay truly controlled last week's game. I feel like they could have scored more points, but they knew the Cowboys just couldn't do anything. And so everybody's like real big on like what Brady did coming back after a crazy off season with all the allegations and stuff. Man, they defense look crazy, crazy good. Carlton Davis, I hate to say it, an Auburn kid. Hey, he looking legit, man, down on that block. So, boy,
Oh
looking
yeah.
like me back in the day out there. I see you, boy.
Hey, hold on. Now you know what your nickname was back in the day,
What?
right?
What my nickname?
Tell them what your nickname was. Toast, because you stay getting burnt. You know
Hey,
that now.
Okay. Okay.
I give him that one.
So, all right, all right. So, Tampa Bay versus the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, I'm going to roll with Tampa Bay here. I think that I like the under in this game. I think that there's going to be a lot of sloppy play. I think Tampa Bay's defense is going to take advantage of Jameis Winston and his propensity to turn the ball over, so it could make it a little bit muddy. So I'll take Tampa Bay, and we'll just have to see what happens in the in the city there. All right, guys. So you've got Miami 1-0 going to Baltimore Ravens, who are also 1-0, and the Baltimore Ravens are a 3.5 point favorite at home. Lamar Jackson did Lamar Jackson things last week. Tua, maybe they hit him just enough in order to get the win against the Patriots. Maybe the Patriots are a little bit worse than we actually thought they were going to be. So, David, I'm going to throw it to you. You got your choice. You got Miami versus the Ravens. Who do you got?
Hey, man, I'm around with Lamar, man. Like I said in the Baker situation, I love a guy with a chip on his shoulder. Man, Lamar was out there going crazy, man. He had Bateman looking like, man, Bateman looking like Randy Moss out there. How he opened streaking down that field and Lamar putting it right in that bread basket, man. So I like Lamar to keep it going. I feel like Miami is a potential landing spot for him next year. If Tua don't get it together, you got Lamar going back home. I think he's trying to show these OCs something, man. You know, people been playing, talking to these people behind closed doors like they ain't supposed to. They looking at Lamar. They know Lamar from Miami. So hey, I feel like he gonna ball. This is the road to 300 million. I think they gonna get it to him.
All right, Q.
300 million,
Dolphins versus Ravens. Who
man.
you got?
Oh. Uh, I'm gonna take Baltimore, but I don't think they'll cover. I think they may come out this game and kind of underestimate Miami and come out playing sloppy, thinking they're just gonna get over on them. And Miami might come up and surprise them. You know what I mean? So, um, Lamar, I got a real good feeling he's gonna get a lot of turnovers in this game. 'Cause if you check the games that he's played against Miami in the past, he throws about 2 or 3 interceptions in those games. So I'm gonna take Baltimore, but they're not gonna cover.
Interesting. For that exact reason is the reason why I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think that Lamar is going to have a little. There's going to be some turnovers. I think that the Dolphins' defense is very good. I think that the Dolphins' offense may just be different enough to be able to throw the Ravens' defense off, which has been good so far. So I'm actually going to go with Miami on this particular pick. So let's jump ahead to the Seattle Seahawks, 1-0. Geno Smith out of nowhere beating the Broncos last week and your boy Russell Wilson versus the 0-1 San Francisco 49ers, who somehow figured out a way to lose some sort of swimming water polo match. I'm not sure what that was happening in Chicago. There was they changed out the grass. There was lots of rain. It looked like there was water everywhere. People were literally drowning on the field. So David, I'm going to throw it to you. This is the San Francisco 49ers that you love. So tell me how you feel about Seattle versus San Francisco.
Fix was definitely in, man. But hey, I look for my boys to regroup, man. Like Bosa said, he can't wait to get back to that Cali weather, man. I'm not gonna harp on Trey Lance. Like the weather was an issue, a factor. You know what I'm saying? You don't those games like when the weather is like that, it makes anything closer. I like the Niners to regroup, man, and win big, man. The only thing I wish that Kyle Shanahan would shy away from. I get it, Debo can run the ball, man, but we got other running backs. Like we gonna need Debo Samuel later, man. I feel like we got the roster to make a playoff run, whether it's a short one or a deep one. We gotta save Debo, man. Like Debo be out there punishing people, bro. So, but I look for us to win big next week, man. So, Niners by
Okay.
let's say 12.
All right, so Q,
Listen,
Seahawks versus the
man,
Niners. Who
last
you got?
week I'll never forget to this day. And he know what I'm about to say. I was at work and Saints were down, looking horrible, and he's I'm talking about trash. Saints offensive line, this, that. Okay, cool. And I probably an hour later, I look back. We won, they lost, and he's like, "Damn, I should have kept my mouth closed." I said, "Yeah." But man, I'm really not sold on Trey as of yet. And I think the 49ers are not either, and that's the reason why they reconstructed Jimmy and kept him around the way they did. I think if Trey doesn't show that he's going to be the leader of this team in probably the next 4 games, we may see Jimmy start. You know what I mean? So I'm taking the Seahawks in this one.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm looking at this game and I'm not sold on Seattle. I'm definitely not sold on Geno Smith. I'm not sold on San Francisco the way that they're uh, playing ball right this second. So I'll just have to go with the home team. I'll go with San Francisco 49ers, and I just don't feel like Seattle's for real. Now, I would love to be able to come back next week and definitely say, I'm sorry to the Seattle Seahawks, because I feel like I need to say I'm sorry about something that's happened, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's move on over to the Bengals 0-1 versus the Cowboys, who are 0-1. Cowboys at home, and they are a 7.5 point underdog at home to the Bengals. So, David, I'll throw it to you. Start off this thing. You like the Bengals on the road versus the Cowboys?
Man, I'm a shock the world with this one, man. Man, the Bengals O line is bad, man. Like,
Yeah, they're down bad.
that was like, it's like Joe Burrow has showed you what he can do, and y'all still got him running for his life. He already got the cut on his knee. Like, man, Bengals, like, you have a great thing in Joe Burrow with and Higgins and of course Jamar Chase. Like, man, them boys need protection, man. So I'm gonna do some bold, and I'm gonna still pick the Bengals. I'm not gonna pick the Cowboys again.
Okay. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Q, you like the Bengals versus the Cowboys? You like the Cowboys?
Yeah, I like the Bengals, man. He read my mind. I think Joe Burrow will get it together. Last year, he threw 3 interceptions and against Pittsburgh. Like he said, no time to kind of go through his progressions, kind of read what he got what receivers he could deliver to. That offensive line, they got to get better. But I'm definitely going to Bengals. I might actually take the Bengals probably by 10 because Cowboys, man, they got too much going on in that locker room. They got to get situated before they can actually return to their prime of a franchise, I should say.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to roll with Cincinnati simply because I think that this is the week that the Cowboys see more injuries. I think Zeke goes down. I think a lot more people are going to be out because Dak Prescott not being there and Cooper Rush being the quarterback. I mean, is it Cooper Rush? Because I think it's Cooper Pass, as in I'll pass on Cooper Rush. So I'm going to take Cincinnati. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Cowboys. All right, gentlemen. So for week 2, Monday Night Football, doubleheader. Never happens. Oh, wait, it happens every year, but usually it's week 1. So this year it's in week 2. So the first game, Titans, who are 0-1, versus the Bills, 1-0. Now, the Bills, they look like a runaway freight train last week, but they got shown up kind of by the way that the Chiefs played. So maybe people forgot about how dominant they were last Thursday night. So, Q, I'm gonna throw it to you on this one. Is it Derrick Henry and the Titans, or is it, Josh Allen and the rest of those weapons at the Bills?
I'm taking Derrick Henry and the Titans, man. Last year I think it was in the division round. I think they played Buffalo, and they had a hell of a time trying to stop Derrick Henry. That Titans offense is coming together behind Tannehill more and more each game. But I think the Buffalo Bills are going to really have their hands full with Henry. You can say Von Miller or what's the middle linebacker name? Trey Edmonds. You know those guys. If they can't get their hands on Henry, there's nobody that's gonna stop them. So I'm taking Tennessee in that one.
Interesting. All right, David, who you like, man? The Titans at the Bills.
Oh man, I know he said Edmonds. He said the other kid, but they got somebody down there named Milano as well. Bills got some weapons, man. It's just you always got to be mindful of those 10-point spreads or double-digit spreads when you know a team is going to run the ball regardless. So they are going to slow it down. I got to go Josh Allen, man. I'm going to go big. I feel like, yeah, I got to go Josh Allen and them boys, man. Like, they made the Rams and them look crazy, man. And they also had that early week game. So I feel like the
Yeah.
Bills had a little more risk. So I feel like that plays a part in it. And they're also at home. So I'm pretty sure they got back home quick, had that long week turnaround to prepare. You know what I'm saying? Titans kind of coming off of a bad loss. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna go Bills. I'm gonna go Bills.
From the way that the Bills handled the Rams running game, I think that obviously this is Derrick Henry and it's a whole different deal. But I'm feeling like the Bills are getting ready to build up to something kind of big this year. I think they'll build all the way up to where they get everyone's hopes up, and then at some point down in the season they'll lose a huge game, and everyone will be like, "Oh, it's the Bills." So I'll ride the Bills until the crash comes, and I will take the Bills. And the second Monday Night Football game is going to be the 1-0 Vikings coming off a very interesting win over the Packers versus the 1-0 Eagles. The Eagles are -2 at home, and that kind of sticks out a little bit weird to me. Q, who you like, man, the Vikes or the Eagles?
I'm going with Uncle Kirk, man. I call him Uncle, but last name Cousins. Him and
Mm.
Justin Jefferson, they're gonna do something real good. And you got to think, man, they also got Davin Cook in the backfield. Davin Cook had a pretty stellar game. I'm not gonna say well, not stellar, but it was a pretty decent game considering the defense he had to play against. But Vikings probably Vikings probably by at least 9.
Hmm. Okay. David, who you like, man, Vikings or Eagles?
I'm going Eagles, man. Listen, man, stat lines. That boy Sanders had almost 100 yards, one touchdown. AJ Brown, 10 receptions for 155 yards. Devonta Smith, former Heisman winner, didn't have a big game. I feel like the Vikings gonna be keying on Brown, and we all know what Smith can do. I feel like Jalen gets one or two in the end zone this week, man. I like the Eagles, and I also love their defense, man. I love the Eagles defense. I feel like they done figure something out.
It sounded like you picked that based off the fact that they were both from Bama.
Alabama quarterback to Alabama
That's what
wide receiver.
No, I ain't.
receiver.
I
Yeah,
ain't gonna
yeah,
say that,
yeah.
man. I just feel like, don't get me wrong, I don't think the Packers got it. If I'm gonna go more in depth, I don't feel like the Packers really got it this year. Man, Aaron Rodgers, he already admitted that he be playing on them Percocets, and
Yeah.
I thought that was a secret weapon. You know what I'm saying? He got back-to-back MVPs off them Perkins, but
He learned that from Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So
as,
yeah.
exactly. So now, man, that's my true reason. Ain't no Bama ties to it. I just feel like I was really more shocked that AJ Brown fit in with that offense. I just thought it was like a Jared Jones pick. They saw turmoil, so they're like, hey, let's grab him. Man, he looked good as hell in their offense. Like you ain't even know Smith was on that team. That was shocked me because I'm looking at the fantasy stats just to see what Smith is going what he did. He wasn't even a factor in that game. So I feel like, hey, the Vikings gonna kind of key on Brown, and my route guy, he gonna get loose up in that thing. And with Sanders still being able to run the ball, replay option with Hurts as well. I like the Eagles probably by like 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? Covering by just a little bit.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm also going to roll with the Eagles. I just feel like that they've got a lot of weapons and a lot of things happening. Their defense looked a little bit better. I'm not going to take anything away from the Vikings, but I don't think the Packers were really the team that we thought that they were going to be. So I just feel like there was a little bit of fool's gold there with the Vikings. So I will take the Eagles as well. So that's the wrap up of NFL Week 2 and our picks and analysis. So we'll move along. All right, so we're getting here toward the end of the podcast today. We've been hanging here in the Ball and Parlay Lounge. Now, this is the part of the show, a segment we like to say, we're sorry. Sometimes it's hard for a man to say that he's sorry, to apologize for things that he's said in the past and take accountability for them. So we're going to take accountability in a segment that we call I'm sorry. So, David, you got somebody you want to apologize to out there?
I'm sorry for 2000. No, I'm just talking. But no, man, I wanna. I really want to say, man, I'm sorry to the Longhorn fans, man. It's not to down y'all or anything, man. Y'all played a good game, 20-19. Bama barely squeaked out, and it's coming from a Bama fan. And to see the Bama players do this, like we beat y'all by 40, that's disrespectful. Shout out to Saban for saying, "Hey, we don't do that shit here." Come on, man. That's not good sportsmanship. Like me and Chalk was talking earlier with Q. Texas finna be a part of the SEC soon, man. They showed that they are a real deal good team. They showed that they deserve to be there. We had no right to be throwing the hooks down, man, or the horns down. My apologies. So that's my sorry for 2004.
Interesting. Okay. Q, got anybody out there that you want to apologize to?
Yeah, man, I want to apologize to Jameis Winston, and here's why.
Mm.
I was a big Breeze fan, and what Breeze got accomplished while he was in New Orleans. I knew that someday it would come to an end, and when they signed Jameis, I just went for it. Um, Before he got hurt last year, I think we went like 5-0 or 4-1, something like that. So he showed that he can, handle the team, lead the team, and do things of that nature. So I'm kind of behind Jameis this year, and kind of really excited to see what he can do as long as he stay healthy. So definitely want to apologize to J-Bo, man.
And I have an apology I want to throw out there for last week on the show. I talked about Pete Carroll. I talked about how I thought maybe he should be taking a broadcasting job somewhere that maybe football is passing by. But I heard some information that had trickled its way out. Now, this could just be reckless speculation. It could be just whatever it is. But what I was hearing was that Super Bowl where the Seahawks had gone all the way down to the goal line and they're playing the Patriots, and Pete Carroll calls a play, and Russell Wilson throws, and there's an interception, and the Patriots win. Well, what I heard was that that was actually supposed to be a run play to Marshawn Lynch, and that Russell Wilson supposedly audibled out of that and caused his team to lose the Super Bowl because he was trying to get an MVP. And if that happened and Pete Carroll has sat on that all these years and not said it, and it hasn't come up, and it's only after Russell Wilson has left the organization that this trickles its way out, that's a real dude. I have nothing but respect for Pete Carroll and the way that he has treated his players and the people that are around him. He's been eating that shit since that happened. Everyone's been saying, why didn't you run the ball with Marshawn? They hadn't been
Beast
stopping him all
mode.
game. If this turns out to be true, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see if anything else comes out because of it. I just want to say, I'm sorry, Pete Carroll. That's my bad. I didn't realize it was like that. Maybe I had, I knew in my heart that I was a Future fan. I just knew in my heart that I loved Future, and I don't know what I was thinking. So, once again, Pete Carroll, I'm sorry, man. I mean, I just don't know anything else to say. J-Bo, we're sorry. I mean, Longhorn fans, we're sorry. Okay, we're sorry. We're men. We're able to admit it. So, all right, gentlemen. Well, we're wrapping it up here. All I want to say is thank you for joining the Ball and Parlay Lounge. Go find us on Facebook at Ball and Parlay. I'm gonna throw it to the fellas for one last word. Q, give the people one last word.
Yeah, man, we continue to thank you guys for tuning in. It's gonna get better and better, I promise. Definitely like, subscribe, share, comment on the Facebook page, Ball and Parlay Podcast as well.
Absolutely, David. Any last words for the people?
To piggyback off my boys, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, being patient with us, man. This what y'all said y'all been wanting. We got a lot of feedback off that first podcast. So hey, my boy, like my boy Ray say, my boy Outline, it's been a real good connection with us, Chalk. So hey, I appreciate it. All the people wondering, man, Craig had surgery today. It was good. He's in recovery, man, until like October. I will definitely keep y'all posted. Keep those prayers out there so y'all know when my boy bounce back, he will be on here with us, man. So like, share, subscribe, man. And if y'all know anything y'all want us to chime in on or do anything, we also looking for sponsorship as well, man. You want to be showed on here. This will be broadcasted every Thursday, Friday at the latest. Contact Q, contact Wyt Choc, contact myself. We are definitely looking forward to that. We're trying to help somebody push their business or just put something out there that you want to be shared, man. So, hey, salute.
Absolutely. Well, you've been in the Ball and Parlay Lounge. And for Q and David, Mr. Ball and Parlay himself, I've been Wyt Choc, and we'll catch y'all next week on the Ball and Parlay Lounge.